Joe, don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe at 479-202-9960 to keep your yard mosquito-free, or visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 4 days.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Ty Richardson.
Guys do a good job, and I listen to you guys.
2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again.
D-Mac, hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back, touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Hope you're enjoying the start of your Tuesday. Well, I guess it's the start of our Tuesday here on Halftime, just as we get into the show. You've probably been busy for the last 3 or 4 hours, getting the kids ready for school, getting them off to school, and then heading to work, and now you are heading towards lunch around that time. Tuning in today for a Tuesday edition of Halftime during Week 1 for Arkansas football, counting down until the kickoff against Portland State, 3 o'clock on Saturday, of course, right here on ESPN Arkansas, and as well, hitthatline.com. Phil Elson here along with Ty Richardson in the ESPN Arkansas studios. Want to get with us today on the Cherokee Casino hotline, the number for voice or text, 877-377-6963. And I would say, Ty, we had probably more reaction yesterday from the naming specifically of Ben Hicks as QB1 for Week 1 than maybe at any other point of our now, I think it's been like a 51-week existence here on Halftime. And really, that's where most of the reaction has been. It's been to Chad Morris's naming of Ben Hicks, not to any other spot of the depth chart, in which there's a lot you could pick apart on this depth chart, and maybe pick apart isn't the right term, but just to analyze, looking at things with really, I mean, all 11 players on offense that are expected to start on Saturday did not start. Week 1 against Eastern Illinois last year. There are 9 true freshmen on the 2 deep, including 5 of them on the offensive side. Many of them are going to see a lot of playing time, specifically at wide receiver. And you also talk about an offensive line that might have more scholarship linemen than they had last year, and there's some more depth than last season. But then you're also looking at 2 true freshmen and a redshirt freshman as your second stringers at center, right guard, and right tackle. So, I mean, there's a lot going on there. And then that doesn't even mention the defense, which just looking at the depth chart, you wonder if it could sustain a number of injuries and keep chugging along. So with all that said, Ty Richardson, still the main topic of conversation yesterday, and I would imagine throughout the morning as well, is about the quarterback. And, you know, that makes sense. That makes sense, especially for a team that's head coach specializes in quarterback play and offense, and you really didn't get much in the way of offense and quarterback play last year. So the conversation continues, and I think you and me both have come from the idea that a lot of fans have come from where you just, at this point, you have to trust the coach because it's all about who he is more comfortable with running this offense. And hey, later on, and I'll give a tip of the cap to you, Ty, we're going to be talking with a former quarterback who ran this offense for 3 seasons at the University of Clemson. Taj Boyd will be joining us later on in this hour. Nikki Chavanel in hour number 2. So wouldn't you say, Ty, if you're going to talk about the intricacies of a complex offense that only 30% was installed last year, isn't the best way to discuss that offense is with a quarterback who knows it in and out? I would imagine Taj Boyd knows that offense probably better than Ben Hicks does.
First in school history in passing touchdowns, passing efficiency, touchdown responsibility, first in passing yards, completions, and completions per game. This guy was electric. For those who don't know that is, you need to watch some of his highlights because he was really the quarterback that got things going. He was a 5-star out of high school. I believe he's from Virginia. I think Hampton is the city he was from. And Chad Morris didn't recruit him to Clemson, but he got there after he was a year at Tulsa and came to Clemson and really was the architect, as many of you have heard, of getting Clemson's offense going and being as electrifying as it's been. So I'm really excited to talk to Taj. We've been texting back and forth. I think he's excited to come on. He's touched on Chad Morris a little bit before on national ESPN radio, so I think we're going to get a really good perspective from, honestly, Phil, one of the best quarterbacks in Clemson history, probably only trailing Deshaun Watson.
You know, you look at the fact that Clemson had 7 years of 10 wins or more before Taj Boyd became the starter. And there have been 8 seasons since the day that Boyd took over as the starting quarterback at Clemson. Of course, he's been the QB for just 3 of them. And they've had 10 wins in all 8 of those years. So he's right there at the crux of where Clemson turned into a good football program into a great football program and potentially the best football program across the country now for the last 4 years. So that's something we'll get into later on in hour number 1. And to get into the conversation about quarterbacks now. And I think we got into this yesterday because it was about almost exactly 24 hours ago, right about 6 minutes after 12, when Chad Morris mentioned that Ben Hicks would be QB1 for week 1. Now, you notice he said week 1. He did not say for the season or just that he's QB1. He said week 1. And to parse all of the comments about Ben Hicks, the ones that stand out are the following: that he's been in this is coming right from Chad Morris. This decision based solely on his complete overall knowledge of the offense. Been in the offense for 3 years. He's been with the team since January. Nick has been in the offense for 3 weeks. So even though reports had said Starkel has really come on of late, the coaches, Joe Craddock, Chad Morris, said that he really seemed to pick things up over the 3 weeks that Chad mentioned in this press conference. You wonder if he really even had a shot to start week 1, if this was about Morris's comfort level with the quarterback, and the comfort goes back 3 years now, and even back with the program that Ben started with Arkansas in January. Did Starkel ever really have a shot to start against Portland State? Because I doubt it.
I'm going to go the other way, and I think he did, but the illustration that I've heard, it might have been Ruskin that brought this up yesterday, that, you know, when you're potentially asking a girl on a date and there's a girl that you know is going to say yes, that you really like and is great, and then there's the one that you're not sure on. She might say yes, she might say no, and with Nick Starkel's abilities, you know what you're getting in Ben Hicks. You've coached him for 2 years, and I'm referring to Chad Morris and Joe Craddock. You know what you're getting in Ben Hicks. You don't know as much necessarily Nick Starkel, not because of where he's played, but the fact he didn't play in your system. So the talent, the ceiling of Nick Starkel is higher. Anyone can tell you that. But you're more sure of yourself. And with Chad Morris coming off a 2-10 football season where he had nothing in the cupboard when he got here to Arkansas and he really couldn't do anything, he's just trusting the guy that he's been with. Now, I think Nick Starkel pushed him to a point where Ben Hicks didn't give them a whole lot of confidence, 100%, that, man, you've been killing it, man. You're easily the day one guy, because I think they would have announced it earlier if that was the case. But the fact that they pushed it to Monday, the week before the first game, would lead me to believe, and again, we haven't seen a ton of practice, that Nick Starkel's pushed Ben Hicks. But I think, and Chad Morris even touched on this, his familiarity with the offense was the ultimate calling card to him getting the starting quarterback. And again, as you said, week 1. Not the entire season, week 1.
But a lot of this also, I think, says a lot about the other 10 players on the offensive side, you know, where a lot of them haven't been in this system for long either. So they need somebody that knows the system in and out to be comfortable in this. It's, you know, the idea of the field general quarterback. That's what Hicks sounds like. You know, and there were questions asked of Chad Morris about, you know, how do you describe the way Hicks throws the ball? And he said, you know, he's got a good arm. It's catchable. He has accuracy. But he said, I mean, flat out, I mean, he does not have the arm strength that Nick Starkel has. But that's not what you're picking a quarterback upon, not when you are dealing with an offensive line that has Colton Jackson is your leading returning lineman as far as career starts are concerned. He's made 21 career starts, 10 of them last year under Chad Morris. Austin Capps never started a game at left guard. It's only his second year as an offensive lineman. Ty Clary, I mean, we know the issues he's had with the snaps, and he's had 15 starts at center. Myron Cunningham's never played in this offense. Dalton Wagner hasn't either. And the backups on your offensive line, I mean, I mentioned you got 3 freshmen, 2 of them in their first year in the program. And even your starting right guard is your backup left tackle. So right with that doesn't even mention the idea that 2 of your 3 starting wide receivers for week 1 are true freshmen. And as talented as Traylon Burks and Trey Knox are, and I know that, Knox has been with the program since January and has picked things up pretty quickly, this kind of screams for a quarterback that can get everybody organized properly, get the snap count done properly, line up the protections the way they're supposed to be done, play the offense with the pace and tempo that you didn't see very much last year. And the more that I think about this decision made by Chad Morris for week 1, it does seem like the right decision because it's all about the other 10 players. It seems to me, Ty, to be more about the other 10 players and what they need from their quarterback than it does about the actual quarterback themselves that we're talking about.
And he touched on that yesterday.
With Ben and being with him for 3 years, he's a fierce competitor, like all quarterbacks are. I've probably seen him mature more from our last year and not being with him for 1 year, and then him coming in here in January and essentially starting from ground zero with a football team and with guys on his team and watching him having to mature. I've seen just his maturity level, just the knowledge of the offense, I guess you would say, has really elevated.
I mean, that's what set him over the top. That's what set him above Starkel, Phil. Not his superb talent, but the fact that he knows the offense and he'll be able to get some of these younger guys into places. Tommy brought up a good point in the morning wash. Wide receivers. Mike Woods, sophomore. Treylon Burks, freshman. Trey Knox, freshman. There's not a ton of experience there. You have 18 catches for Mike Woods last season.
Well, and even amongst your backups at those positions, Coylin Jackson, he has spent more time injured than he's been on the field. TQ Jackson, he is a true freshman. Davion Warren's had a total of 4 catches in his career. I mean, it isn't just the starters, and it's the same on the offensive line. It's the backups, too, because let's be honest here. This is football, and the 11 starters for this Saturday, they're not going to be starting every single game. This is a crushing game. You have to worry about everybody else that's on that 2 deep. That's why they give you a 2 deep. So, and I think you've been paying more attention to the criticism of the decision on online than I have.
You can't avoid it. My goodness,
it's pretty difficult to avoid it too. And I think that the mindset that a lot of people are coming from is that you got a kid that you're reading about. I mean, you are reading about Nick Starkel. Maybe you saw a couple of games he played at Texas A&M on television.
But they didn't. That's the thing. Like,
right.
If you're going to make an accurate or at least a judgment call on the quarterback position, you actually have to have seen stuff. You can't just watch 10 minutes of highlights or read some stats and read a story and then say, oh, Starkel's better than Hicks. Why is Ben Hicks starting over? That doesn't make any sense. Something has to be concrete. And that's what irritated me because they post on Facebook, the website, Twitter, wherever it was, they posted Ben Hicks QB1. And the majority of the comments were something along the lines of not my QB1, Lord Stark or whatever. And I get backup quarterbacks a lot of time have a lot of fans based on the fact that people always think the backup is better than the starter in a lot of cases, not always. But for Arkansas fans who so badly want to win football games, to jump on a guy who has not played a snap at Arkansas, Phil, a snap at Arkansas, and then for him automatically just jump off the boat. That's so stupid. That is so asinine for fans to do that.
I don't know, maybe they're Justin Bieber fans and just kind of projecting that onto Nick Starkel, too. The other thing, I have a feeling that there are some people out there who see a quarterback coming up from a group of 5 program in Southern Methodist and thinking, well, that just doesn't belong in the SEC. And you have another quarterback in Nick Starkel who was recruited to the SEC to play in this conference. Here he is with another team in the same division, in the same conference. And you're thinking, well, you recruited to this level for a certain reason. Same for Ben Hicks. And it doesn't jibe for everybody. But, that's... This is all about comfort level. It's not about comfort level for the fans. It's about comfort level for the court, for the head coach, and for Joe Craddock, the offensive coordinator, and for everybody else on the offense. And I got to be honest here. The more I look at the too deep for the offensive line, the more I start to forget about the idea that, yes, you have your 16 or 15 scholarship offensive linemen this year, and whatever that means. But you got to be a little nervous. You have to be a little bit nervous when your left tackle in Colton Jackson is still dealing with a foot injury that kept him off the field for Saturday. They're hoping he gets back to practice on Wednesday. If he's not there Wednesday, Chad Morris says if you don't practice by Wednesday, you don't play Saturday. So if he doesn't practice by Wednesday, then Myron Cunningham is moving to left tackle. That's fine. From everything you read about Cunningham, this is a guy that's eventually going to play in the NFL. But then Ricky Stromberg moves over to right guard as your first team right guard. That's a true freshman. Ty Clary, you got a true freshman in Bo Limmer right behind you at center. And what does that say? Sure, he's picked up the offense. He has progressed through camp, talking about Limmer and Stromberg. But I just don't see a lot of successful programs that have true freshmen starting on the offensive line, whether it's because of injury or not. So this speaks to a lot of what we talked about before camp even started. You remember a lot of those quotes from anonymous coaches around the SEC? They were talking about every program in the SEC, and what was the one thing, the theme to all of the quotes about Arkansas? It's about roster depth more than anything else, that it's going to take time for Chad Morris to build this team from what he inherited from Brett Bielema's last year to what you want to have. And just 1 year in, you don't have that depth. And I think looking at the too deep, you can tell the depth isn't quite there. You need another recruiting class to get there. And I know, I don't mean to be all doom and gloom here before week 1, but I'm just not sure if the depth is there on the offensive line. So that does worry me a little bit.
And it should, because you saw what happened last year, and not just last year, but the last couple of years when Austin Allen and Ty Story and Cole Keller were just getting absolutely obliterated when it came to their offensive line protecting them. And you win in the trenches in the SEC. If you don't have good trench play, look back to every single Arkansas team the last, 20 years. It's been pretty good. You have good guys on the defensive and offensive line. That's where it starts, Phil. So that's 100% right. And if you're on the Starkel train, which I'm not criticizing anyone's on the Nick Starkel train. I haven't made the statement of who I think is going to be the best long-term because I haven't seen enough of these guys yet. And so I'm not going to make that. But if you're on the Nick Starkel train, why do you want him starting out the first game so bad? Wouldn't you kind of want him to ease into the offense? If you think he's eventually going to take over Ben Hicks regardless, Phil, why would you not want it? Why would you want him to get tossed in the fire first game? And I say tossed in the fire, it's Portland State at home. It's not exactly that. But to me, I think the slower progression of easing him into the offense would be better for him long-term at Arkansas because let's not forget, this isn't exactly the same situation. Go back to 2012 when Tyler Wilson got injured or Brandon Allen had to come in, and they lost that heartbreaker to Louisiana Monroe. That scarred him for another 3 years until they played Auburn in that quadruple overtime game. He did not show up big in any moment until that point in time. These games, these positions that quarterbacks are put in, I know he's not a young guy like B.A. was, but you don't want to just toss him in without him having a grasp of the offense that is to the level that Chad Morris and Joe Craddock won. That's not good for his, and I say long-term, he's got this year and next year, but you got to be able to almost ease him in as best you can if you're on that Nick Starkel train, which that's okay. Just don't be criticizing Ben Hicks before you see him play a snap at the U of A.
Well, and again, I know yesterday I got off on the tangent and the thought that this Saturday against Portland State is part of the tryout process. But I also I would be awfully surprised. And I know I heard one of your promos that you put together from yesterday's show, Ty, and I think I'm going against the prevailing thought I had that Starkel could start game 2, which is the Ole Miss game. And I don't see a change from the starting quarterback from Portland State to Ole Miss. I don't. You're going to give Ben Hicks at least a couple of games as the starter, and if he lays an egg against Ole Miss, if he has a really bad first half, then potentially you see the change at halftime in Oxford. But I guess I'd be surprised, because I do think that you'll see 3 quarterbacks play this Saturday. But then the idea would be to have 1 quarterback play, unless you got a couple of packages for KJ Jefferson to do something on against Ole Miss. I guess I'd be surprised if Ben Hicks doesn't start week 1 and week 2, just because I don't think you're going to see anything this Saturday from Portland State that would scare you about Ben Hicks. If it's about knowledge of the offense, I would expect to see him come out and run the offense the way that it's meant to be run. And to me, that excites me. I imagine we'll see more of the real Chad Morris offense this Saturday than we saw at any point last year. And that's why I'm really excited to talk to Taj Boyd later on in this hour, Ty, because, I need him to break it down for me in layman's terms. You know what this offense is all about. How long did it take him to get used to it? Because I know he and Morris had a pretty rocky relationship at first when Chad took the job into spring ball in Boyd's second season, and they were kind of butting heads a little bit. And I just think it's going to be a very interesting conversation. It's a great get by you to get Taj Boyd. We've got some sound coming up from Chad Morris in our next segment, but don't forget that you will love Breeden RV and Power Sports. That's because they have upfront and no-hassle pricing. Every single RV at Breeden is heavily discounted the moment it hits their lot, so you're guaranteed to get the best price around. Plus, Breeden RV is the only dealership around that offers maintenance for life at no extra charge. That's on any new travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome. So come see Breeden RV today on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or go to BreedenRV.com. You want to react? The Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963 for a call or a text. And we'll be back after a brief break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime.
It's Southern Tire Mart Free Brake Inspection Tuesday. This is the Morning Rush.
You know what we say when we mean QB1?
Yeah.
Okay, because Tommy just thinks it's a kid thing. Now, I got it from the show Friday Night Lights, because that's what they always talk about. It's like, oh, man, he's QB1. He's the big deal on campus. He's the big dog. Tommy just assumed that it's just what the kids say these days, which it is, but that's fine.
We didn't say Ryan Mallett, or even Tyler. We weren't like, oh, hey, there goes QB1.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Are you looking for an easier way to own a new Ford? If you want a better selection with more financing options, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. If you want more for your trade, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. If you have not had great service from other dealers, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. If your dealer isn't meeting your expectations, try Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford.
Harry Robinson, Salisol Ford.
And online at harryrobinson.com.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
It's the Rock and Roll Endless Pools event going on right now at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. If you've seen them on TV and always wondered about an endless pool, now is the time during the Rock and Roll event through September 2nd. Get a free upgrade with free music and resistance bands with the purchase of an endless pool fitness system or swim cross exercise system at Burton Pools and Spas. This is a $1,229 retail value. Check it out for yourself. The endless pools. If you want to improve your fitness, relieve pressure in your body, melt away the stress of daily life, an endless pool can be perfect for you, and it's a great choice. See the full line of endless pools for yourself at Burton Pools and Spas during the Rock and Roll event, 6121 Zero Street in Fort Smith, and just off I-49 at the 412 exit in Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com. It's the Endless Pools Rock and Roll event. Now through Labor Day at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
I'm Lisa Hinton, owner of Champ Hinton Enterprises. For nearly 50 years, the Champ Hinton name has stood for one thing: selling quality cars in a different way, taking the mumbo jumbo out of the process and making customers happy. All these years and tens of thousands of cars later, we're still here, doing business the way Champ Hinton taught us, selling to generations of families who've become part of our family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, the area's premier used car dealer. Take the Arcoma exit off I-540 or go online at champhinton.com.
Attention, please! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts, we're super in style. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
He lost it, and Arkansas, Tony Bua comes away with it, and Arkansas comes away with the win in 7 overtime.
Welcome back to Halftime on a cloudy and rainy Tuesday across the Natural State. Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Let's go to the Cherokee Casino hotline. We have a caller, and I guess I've been waiting for this call for a while. It's been 51 weeks into our show, Ty, and yet Michael from Stuttgart finally is dialing in. Michael, what took you so long? How are you?
Well, I didn't know your show existed. I'd never listened to you. Ty turned me on to it, and actually that's the reason I am calling it. I didn't know you were his cohort or co-host, and hey, I have listened to you, and you guys are really good. You know, I'm glad to hear you doing something else other than calling a baseball game.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. That's right. You're on the other side of the state from where our show usually airs, so you must be listening on hitthatline.com today.
I am. I normally don't get up this early. I normally don't get up till about 1, but I got up early today about 12, so I'm checking you guys out on Twitter.
Well, you want to give me a reaction on the overall depth chart or just a quarterback where most people are talking about? What do you think?
Yeah, it's quarterback, and I just want to say this. This is so ridiculous. I mean, if you trust the coach, and I don't think there's very few. I think there's very few coaches in the United States that actually do this job because it's so unique, and everyone knows why. There's no reason to get into it. But I think Coach Morris is actually fixed to do that, to be the coach here, more so than any coach has ever been here since Frank Bowles. He reminds me of him, actually. And who turned me on to this? I was reading an article about Mike Irwin, and he was talking about, you know, the similarities, and they're salesmen, and they're visionaries, and they're positive, and they're results-oriented, and that's what I see here. And I think you got to give a guy the benefit of the doubt that's doing a job that so few could do, or attempting to do, starting to do, and that you couldn't do. The guy, you know, that's in the office on the back of the trash truck or whatever he's doing, you don't have any right to talk about anything because the guy hasn't even had a chance to fail yet, and you've already condemned the guy. I think Hicks got the job. The reason the coach said he got the job because he knew the playbook intimately. There was starting a lot of new players, and there was a little bit of wasn't there a little bit of loyalty sprinkled in there? I mean, the guy he recruited him, he played with him, he came over here for him. Starkel has all the talent and upside, and I think there's something else people aren't looking at. There's always stuff people aren't looking at, and I guess that's the reason why they're doing what they're doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing. But the difference is, to me, really, could Hicks have handled it? Could he have bounced back? I mean, I look at their profiles. How would you like Starkel crawling up your back? I think Starkel's going to be stronger, come back better, try to not sulk. And I think Hicks, it might have sent him the other direction because I think that's the difference in the guy's mentality. But I think Hicks should be given an opportunity, and he's given one. He's going to start. Doesn't mean he's going to finish. So I think Starkel will play more games and win the job, but the coach certainly knows more than me, and there's no reason we'll win the job eventually, probably after a couple weeks, but there's no reason not to give Hicks a job because he did come over here before Starkel, and he does know the playbook more.
Michael, let me read off some of his former quarterbacks. We mentioned we're having Taj Boyd on in about 5 minutes or so. Deshaun Watson, obviously, he coached him his freshman year. Garrett Gilbert at Lake Travis won 2 high school state championships. You have Ben Hicks, who had career years when he was coached under Chad Morris. Say what you want about Chad Kelly, but he recruited him, got him to Clemson. I know he had issues off the field, but that's a guy that can play. And then also a guy named G.J. Kinney from Tulsa.
I'm glad you tried to pronounce it rather than me.
I don't know. So, here's my whole thing. You basically just laid out what I did in last segment. He knows more than anyone listening right now when it comes to the quarterback situation. He deals with them more, he watches them more, and he's smarter than anyone else. So for fans to come out on Twitter, social media, on a radio station, wherever, and say this guy doesn't know what he's doing based on what happened last season, did you see who was playing quarterback last year? Did you, honestly, I might have been better off at the quarterback position than who they had last year. And, I'm being completely tongue-in-cheek right now, but Michael, you've said the same thing. Someone else has.
I think you'd be fifth string at Western Kentucky, Ty.
Probably, honestly. But, for them to be ticked off based on what happened last year when he didn't have anything to work with is just preposterous, and I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. Sorry, I'm getting worked up, but I'm with you 100% on your camp.
No, that's all right. Michael's usually the one that gets worked up. Hey, this is the first time, Michael, by the way, that one of our texters in the Cherokee Casino hotline wants to know about one of our other callers' Twitter handles. That's new. Chandler and Roland wants to know your Twitter handle. Do you want to give that out?
MFS_smart money. And it's really false advertising because the money is not smart. It's brilliant. I do give out some plays on there. It is a locked Twitter account because everybody can't come in and see. I've got to vet you a little bit, look at you. But, 9 out of 10 times, well, probably 6 out of 10 times, I let guys in when they want to come in. So, but I won't open it up for everybody for a lot of different reasons. Phil, let me just quickly say this. We got to understand some of these guys critiquing. I mean, these guys are message board guys, but a couple of these guys, they have won fantasy football, and I'm sure that would be their claim to fame, and that's their expertise. I just want to ask you this, Phil, and I want you to answer me as far as this whole situation goes. We've laid it all out. We all understand who the quarterback's going to be. Does it actually matter at the end of the day? Does it matter which one of these guys is going to be? Is there that big a difference in either one of these guys to you? I mean, the competition took that long. I mean, is it going to be the difference in winning and losing games? Or are they going to have to go out there and play first for anybody to know?
That's a really good question, Michael, and appreciate that phone call. I tell you what, I think a lot of the anger comes from more than anything than the thought that you're elevating a quarterback from Southern Methodist to starting in the SEC rather than taking another SEC quarterback, albeit somebody that was beaten out by a really talented quarterback in Kellen Mond, and I think some people are having some trouble jibing those two things together. They view Arkansas and the SEC much different than having somebody come from Southern Methodist to start a quarterback. Something we'll get into with Taj Boyd in a moment just as well. By the way, if you're looking for a new car, it's Rhodes Chevrolet. That's the name you've been trusting for over 80 years. Rhodes is dependable in the car buying and car owning experience. And from the first time you walk into their showroom, you're treated like family. Part of the family-owned dealership and service department that has been serving the River Valley for over 8 decades. Your next dependable vehicle is at Rhodes Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, or at RhodesChevy.com. Rhodes Chevrolet, dependable since 1934. Former Clemson quarterback Taj Boyd coming on to join us next on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch. St. Louis, Missouri.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Doe's Eat Place is the best of the best steakhouse in the River Valley. Award-winning steaks in a great atmosphere is what you will experience every time. Doe's Eat Place offers over 150 selections of wine, including 50 Cabernets, 200 spirits, including 80 whiskeys, bourbons, and scotch, and 75 beers, with 20 different local beers and 50 imported and craft beers. Everything you need for a memorable evening is at Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd in Fort Smith. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday. Call 784-9111 for reservations.
They don't build cars like they used to, and they don't repair them like they used to either. Today's vehicles contain advanced lightweight materials and safety features like crumple zones and airbags that help protect your family. Repairing them properly after a collision requires up-to-date training. Evans Body Shop has it. We're among only 10% of shops to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class business. When you pick a collision repair shop, make the smart choice for your family's safety. Choose gold class trained repair professionals.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
The weather is hot and the deals are hotter at Hertz Car Sales. Hertz offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs, or trucks, and amazing customer service where you can buy direct and save on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Proud to serve Fort Smith and the River Valley. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
The thing that jumps out to me is Taj Boyd at quarterback in a system that he's not used to being in under Chad Morris. Less than 11 months, he's operating it at a level that you would think he was a fifth-year senior and had great experience.
You want to talk about a great segment open to talk about Taj Boyd and the Chad Morris offense. That's exactly what we're doing here with the former Clemson quarterback who was the all-time ACC leader in passing touchdowns, threw for 107 passing touchdowns in his career as the Tigers quarterback. Taj, really appreciate you coming on to talk about this offense and about your career with us today. How are you?
Man, I'm great. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I'm excited to talk some ball with you guys, man. It's a lot to be excited about with Arkansas right now, and looking forward to explaining my sentiments there. So.
Well, good, because I'm a layman when it comes to football, and I think even a lot of our listeners who watch football weekend in, weekend out religiously still feel like we're just not quite sure what the Chad Morris offense is all about. And part of that is because right. Chad himself last year said they'd only installed about a third of the offense because the quarterbacks really weren't ready to run the offense the way it's supposed to be run. And he says Ben Hicks is the guy to do it. He knows the offense well. So for someone who knows this offense in and out, can you describe in layman's terms what the Chad Morris offense is all about and how a quarterback runs it?
Well, you know, Chad is a unique guy. He knows what he knows what he wants. He expects it in a way to be perfect. And, you know, when you got a guy like that, man, like he wants to go out there and operate and function at such a high level that it's a lot, especially for a young guy to take in. So when you get a Ben Hicks who played under that system at SMU to come into this SEC environment with Arkansas football, it's a different test for him, but for him to be able to nail down that offense, know exactly what Coach Morris and Joe Craddock want from him, you know, and the way he actually can throw the football, man, I'm excited to see how that offense continues to revolve and evolve this season. There was a lot of obviously mishaps last year and a lot of ups and downs, and they were able to actually put up some productive numbers on offense. But when you look at how young this team is, especially from a skill set standpoint, this offense is only going to grow as confident as the quarterback is. So it's very important for Ben Hicks to come in right off the bat, especially against Portland State, and really set the precedent of how this tempo is going to go, what they expect that offense to do, and how they're going to get ready for SEC play, man. So I think it was a wise move to start Ben coming into the season because they got to find some energy, they got to find some mojo and some confidence, and I think he's the guy to be able to do that for them.
And it's such a complex position, no matter what the offense is. But I think maybe one of the words to describe what you need out of a quarterback in this offense is an organizational mentality, and to do it quickly. The field general, to get everybody set, the protection set, everything. That's what Chad talked about, the reason why he's got Ben Hicks as the quarterback. Does that make it stand out from other offenses? Is it more complex than other offenses because of what's asked of the QB?
Well, just because of the tempo, as you mentioned, and familiarity is a key piece in that, which Ben obviously is. But I mean, we were trying to snap a ball like every 4 or 5 seconds. As soon as the play was over, we line back up, get the hand signals in, and you legitimately just attack. When I was there at Clemson, obviously with Chad, one of the things that we always aimed for was to take at least 4 or 5 shots, deep shots down the field every half. And, it's a key component to add a guy like Trey Knox. He's young, but he's 6'4", he's 6'5". He can become a jump ball guy like a Mike Williams, like a DeAndre Hopkins in a sense. But I think he has that slasher capability too. So excited to see how he continues to grow from this spring into this season, and which is why it was obviously vital for him to come in early too, to be able to get that offense down. But, man, I am excited because, there hasn't really been an expectation in Arkansas for some time, and I believe wholeheartedly that in the next couple of years we're going to see this team transform into something that hasn't been in a while. Obviously, I think with Ben at the helm right now, this team is a legitimate bowl contender. I think they win 6-7 games to get into bowl contention, and I think he continues to take those steps, as a leader, as a passer, and really preps himself for the NFL. And we'll see what that transition looks like from playing at SMU to what it will look like playing in SEC ball.
Talking with Taj Boyd, former Clemson quarterback on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Taj, you were a part of a recruiting class that came in. You're a 5-star quarterback, and some of the guys that came in after you, you played with some studs, man. Martavius Bryant, Grady Jarrett, Vic Beasley, DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, Andre Ellington, and Shaq Lawson. And I know you guys didn't ever win a national championship, but you guys are kind of that core that's looked at that got Clemson started, that allowed Deshaun Watson and those guys. You mentioned Mike Williams to go on and win a national championship. You mentioned Trey Knox. He's a part of this recruiting class. A lot of people are looking to him and some of the others involved, which is known as probably the second best recruiting class in Arkansas history. How often do Clemson fans come up to you and thank you the fact that you really got things going again for the Tigers football team?
Well, I mean, I just got out of a meeting, and, I had those guys say the same thing. But in reality, we just wanted to be a spark plug. We wanted to be involved, at a university within a system that could really help build and be the foundation of what something could be. And I think that's where Arkansas is right now as well, to be completely honest. Players want to play with other players. That's just kind of what it is. And, when Chad brought in that offense, that high tempo, high energy, I had 107 passing touchdowns for a reason. I mean, we used to throw it deep all the time. If you look at my highlight tape, it legitimately is all deep balls for the most part. But, people wanted to play in that. It's attractive. It's sexy, but at the same time, Chad still runs it to a point where it's methodical and it makes sense. And it's, I think, again, he has some of the pieces right now. I mean, you get a Rakeem Boyd who'll be healthy, who comes back for another year with some understanding of what's expected from him in that role, out of the backfield and pass pro, running the football. And you couple that with some of the other young pieces in there with a veteran O-line. I mean, again, I think that, the standard will change there in Arkansas as well. And, Chad and Joe Craddock and the rest of those guys can go out there and recruit themselves off. But those players got to legitimately understand what it feels like to love each other, to really fight for each other, and really understand the abilities, responsibility, accountability, dependability. And I'm sure you're going to start to see that as the season changes because, again, with Chad still being such a new coach, what he inherited was some of the guys who didn't necessarily believe in what Chad had to say in the first place. So now trying to in a way reinvigorate that mentality and really flip the switch on it is going to be vital for this season, as well as the future of Arkansas football altogether. So, I think, he has some pieces there. He has to make sure that those guys go out there and perform at a high level. So, it may not be wise to get so complex in the offense that they're not confident in it because at the end of the day, as long as you're running what works and what feels comfortable for those guys, man, they'll go out there and execute it for them. And that's what it's going to be about for him this season.
So, Taj, you mentioned your personal experience, obviously playing quarterback for him for a little bit. When he first got there, this is a guy that had 1 year at the college level and had 16 other years in high school. What were your initial thoughts of him, and how did y'all eventually get to the point where, as you mentioned, completed and threw 107 passing touchdowns for Clemson?
He's a high-energy guy. You wouldn't have thought he coached high school football all those years because of his confidence level. And, again, whatever he ran or whatever he taught and coached, that's what he knew. And he expected us to really go out here and learn the same thing. I had one spring with him, and, in the summer, and after spring ball, he looked at me and said, look, I know you think you had a solid spring, but it just wasn't good enough. And if you can't find a way to get it done, I'll find somebody that will. And that's just who he is. So it was a challenge for me to step up to the plate, just like it will be for Ben. Even though Ben's familiar, Ben, I'm sure, has a leash here too, and it's going to be a tight one because of the expectations that Chad Morris is setting over there. So those guys, they're built for it. I'm sure they grinded all summer, all spring. And look, football is here. And, whatever you did in the offseason is obviously going to translate into this season. So, man, hopefully they put the work in and really nailed it down.
Taj Boyd was 32-8 as a starting quarterback at Clemson. Won the 2012 ACC Player of the Year. Was a first-team All-American the same season. But even with all the success you had at Clemson, Taj, I read about a meeting that you and Chad Morris had his first, I think it was the end of spring ball, his first year as the offensive coordinator. And I'll read word for word a quote, and I'll see what you can react to it. He says, I told him, meaning you, Taj Boyd, that if playing football and being the starting QB at Clemson were important to him, then he better have a great summer. I told him he better take ownership of it and be so far ahead of where he ended spring ball that it wasn't even close. What do you remember about that meeting? What does an angry Chad Morris look like, and what did you have to do during the summertime to get in his good graces?
Oh, man. I didn't have any fun, I didn't go out, no parties, no nothing, And it's funny, man, because in reality, it prepared me so much for life altogether. I ended up never really going on spring breaks because, as good as we were, month after month and season after season, like there was still more to be accomplished. And, that's who he is, man. That's what he is. I'm sure he still drinks those Red Bulls the same way he did when I was at Clemson because the guy never lets his foot off the gas. And that's what you got to respect about him. That's what you appreciate about him. And that's why those players will legitimately step out on that field and run through a wall for him because he is who he is, man. And he doesn't change for anybody. And, I think as a player, man, that's important that your guys know where you stand, what you expect out of them because they know it and they know the precedent that's set. Then they can actually go out there and really put it on paper and figure out what they need to do in order to get to where you want them to be. So, Chad is unique in that sense. He chews gum to the point where it just becomes powder, but he's one of a kind, man. And I'm sure that Ben knows all about it, playing over there with him for the last couple of years.
So I'd also read, Chad Morris was asked about the Philly special play from the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl, the 4th and goal. Right. And he referred to a play from Clemson, Georgia Tech, 2012, a 2-point conversion. You caught the pass, didn't you, from Andre Ellington?
Yeah, man. And as soon as Philly ran it, he texted me. It was like, that's our play right there. But thankfully it was successful in that Georgia Tech game because I dropped it about 8-9 times in practice. I don't have any hands over here, fellas. So, he was confident. He was more confident in me than I was in catching that ball right there. But he's innovative as well. And I think it shows how serious he is about making this football team great. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how many points they score, to be honest, Arkansas's defense last year was pretty piss poor. Mm-hmm. And so to bring in John Chavis, just a veteran coach who's coached many, many successful players, they got a veteran group right now. So, I'm excited to see how they take that next step too, because Arkansas, I think, has an opportunity to put up 28, 35 points a game. Now, if they can go out there and limit, the possession that the other teams have and really just get that offense out on the field, they'll catch fire early in the season and really continue to build confidence in that way as well. So, there's some things that have to happen here, and I'm not saying that it's going to be just this turnaround overnight, but I'm telling you, give them a year, 2, 3, and you'll start to see Arkansas football look the way it did when Darren McFadden was there.
Hi, Taj Boyd with us right now on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Taj, let me close out the interview with this, man. You, Deshaun Watson, you guys are two of the most exciting quarterbacks I'd ever seen. I didn't know if anything would be duplicated at Clemson. And then comes a flowy, sunshine-looking kid by the name of Trevor Lawrence that has been dubbed maybe the greatest quarterback in the last 20 years that people have ever seen. Where do you rank him? And just watching him play, are you kind of disappointed that this guy may end up being better than you?
No, man, because, again, one of the things that Coach Sweeney told me when he recruited me was like, hey, man, if you come here, we can be a part of something special, man. You can help lay the fabric and the foundation of what could be. And that's all I ever wanted, man. All I wanted to do was leave a legacy and go to a university and leave something better than I found it. I was able to do that, man, so hopefully – the good just keeps getting better. Obviously you look at the next couple of recruiting classes that Clemson's already putting together, and that's why I think when it's all said and done, this may be the most prolific run in college football history. And again, a lot of that was jump-started by Chad Morris too. Again, he made Clemson attractive with the offense that we had and numbers that we were able to put up. I mean, again, there were certain games where we walked out there in the first play of the game and it's like, look, we're backed up on a -2. Let's call a shot right here, and we'll score a 98-yard touchdown. Guys want to play in that. And if he can go out there and get those guys to understand what he's trying to do and trying to accomplish, then he can make Arkansas a contender because those players want to play in that environment.
Taj, is great stuff. Really appreciate you joining us today. Good luck with whatever's coming up in the future for you, and hopefully we can talk about some success for this football team by the end of the season. Thanks again.
Hopefully so. Appreciate you guys.
You got it, Taj Boyd. Great guest, great get, Ty Richardson. We'll come back, wrap up the first hour next on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. This is Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Break Inspection Tuesday.
Hit hot summer savings now during the Labor Day sales event at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler, Oklahoma. Incredible offers on an impressive selection of new 2018 still in stock and the stylish new 2019s. Huge savings through Labor Day on trucks, SUVs, cars, and minivans. Don't miss it, the Labor Day sales event going on now at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler. To view the inventory, look them up at buywilliams.com. If you're a landowner, hobby farmer, or full-time farmer, Bush Machine & Tractor knows how important this time of year is for you. So make the most of it with a brand new Branson tractor. Offering tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, they have the tractor that's right for you. Make the most of your time this year and ask about their special financing options and free loader. Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer is Bush Machine & Tractor in Fort Smith. Check out their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
This Coors Light is the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? Coors Light, as cold as the Rockies, available down the street. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
What's your next obsession? If it's diving lessons, Ocean Impact Dive Shop, Western Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma's premier dive shop is waiting on you. Ocean Impact is a full-service 5-star PADI dive shop offering air fills and tank inspections. The staff can answer all your questions and get you started on your underwater adventure. Ocean Impact Dive Shop, 2127 South 56th Street, Fort Smith. Don't wait. Get to Ocean Impact Dive Shop. Go get your dive on.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Edwards Auto Center in Roland has a newly remodeled facility with a greater selection of vehicles, and you will enjoy a relaxed, no-pressure sales experience. If your credit score has been an issue, Edwards Signature Buy Here, Pay Here program is a part of their superior customer service. Some restrictions may apply. Edwards has helped folks achieve their dreams of auto ownership and providing quality used vehicles for more than 30 years. Visit the newly remodeled Edwards Auto Center 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge. The first car dealer on the right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Attention, please! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts, we're super in style. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Jones floating, throws back to the end zone, touchdown! Stephen Harris, there were two wideouts going across the back line, and he was on that edge right in the corner, and he pulls it down.
So let's see, over recent weeks we have learned Arkansas is adding a series in football with Utah near the end of next decade. They are re-upping with Memphis for a couple of games. They're going to do a 2-for-1 with Tulsa, sign 2 more games with Oklahoma State. And Rice opens up the 2021 season, and then word comes out yesterday that the opening game of the 2022 season will be the first ever matchup of Arkansas versus Cincinnati, the Bearcats. And Ty, I got to be honest with you, it hasn't been a very good thing when Arkansas schedules Ohio schools. They've played 2 Ohio schools. You know these games very well. Losing to Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl and losing in Little Rock to Toledo. Hopefully things go a little bit better in Fayetteville against the Bearcats.
Yeah, those are 2 memories that Arkansas fans don't want to go back to that often. But thanks for bringing that up, Phil. Appreciate
No problem. No problem. I'm sure we'll be talking about that game in about 3 years, right? When we're still doing this radio show. By the way, we're still doing this radio show in hour number 2. Stick around on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Kids are back in school, fall is just around the corner, and at Breeden RV that means one thing, camping season. With deals on new travel trailers up to $13,000 off and new fifth wheels up to $20,000 off, you'll see why Breeden RV is the area's fastest growing RV dealership. And you'll have peace of mind when you buy from Breeden RV because every new RV comes with maintenance for life. So stop by today at Breeden RV on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or visit us on the web at BreedenRV.com. Breeden RV, home of maintenance for life.
What's your more? Maybe it's more days in flip-flops, on a beach that you own, in the Caymans. Whatever you'd like more of, Mega Millions from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery can turn those dreams into reality. And the next drawing is for more than $100 million. So go to your local lottery retailer and get your ticket to more today. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Always get more at Orr.
The 2019 clearance is on at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. We have some awesome new 2020 models arriving daily, like the Chevy Blazer and the heavy-duty Silverado. So to make room, Orr Chevy is getting straight to the bottom line price on all remaining new 2019 models. Half-ton Silverados, Tahoes, and Suburbans, Equinoxes, and Traverse SUVs, plus Malibus and Chevy Trax crossovers. You get the famous Orr volume discount and all the money for for your trade. Plus, with any new Chevy sold, you'll also receive a complimentary 3-day, 2-night hotel stay at one of over 600 hotels across America. So come get a free hotel vacation today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Showers and occasional thunderstorms with us tonight, especially across the north. An overnight low will drop down in the upper 60s to low 70s. A decent chance of showers and storms moving from north to south on Tuesday. Our high temperature is 80 to 85. And Wednesday, sunshine returns, low 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Mosquito Joe. Don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe at 479-202-9960 to keep your yard mosquito free, or visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
HitThatLine.com. Never before has your favorite sports radio station covered the Razorbacks like this. HitThatLine.com. Interviews, podcasts, videos, columns, all at your fingertips anytime, day or night. For free. And never any annoying surveys to fill out. HitThatLine.com. Keep up on the morning rush and Razorback sports anytime, anywhere. Razorback news, podcasts, videos, and tons more. Streaming live now on HitThatLine.com. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 4 days.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
You
want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson.
You do a fantastic job on the radio. There's no one else in this league I'd rather listen to, so keep up the good work.
And Ty Richardson.
Guys do a good job, and I listen to you guys.
2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again.
D-Mac, hold on now, Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Appreciate you tuning in today on a Tuesday. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com. Our Cherokee Casino hotline, as always, for a voice, for a call or a text, 877-377-6963. Appreciated that interview with Taj Boyd. I think we got a pretty good window into what a quarterback wants or what a quarterback needs to do, according to Chad Morris, more or less what Chad wants his quarterback to do. I also got the sense, and I didn't have a chance to ask him this because his answer about the meeting that he had with Chad Morris, I think that was at the end of his freshman year, answered the question for me. I think, Ty, many media members in the state have been, I don't know if annoyed is the right term, but they just don't think they get much from Chad Morris at press conferences. We had Chad on this show, it was about a month ago. It was just before the start of fall/summer/camp/practice, whatever it is you want to call it. And you got coach speak, and I think in media terms, a lot of coaches are very guarded with what they say, and hold things close to the vest. I think Chad has held things very close to the vest for the entire month of August. But you get the sense from what Taj Boyd was talking about that he's pretty darn direct with his players, that he doesn't beat around the bush with them, that coach speak to media members is not coach speak to the players. And I think that says something about probably the way he either broke the news to Nick Starkel that he would not start week 1, or just how it was communicated. And if he's being honest with the media that it's about Ben Hicks's complete overall knowledge of the offense and solely for that, he had to have told Nick Starkel the exact same thing in no uncertain terms.
So Taj Boyd, for those who don't know, was a 5-star kid coming out of high school, was not recruited by Chad Morris because Chad Morris was still at the high school ranks when he was in high school, then took the job at Tulsa, and then got to Clemson. Dabo hired him at Clemson. So it would, like he mentioned in the story you brought up, there's going to be some conflict. I can't speak to how Taj is as a coachable, but obviously Chad had a lot of success with him, and I would bet that Chad would be more than upfront saying that he's coachable. Maybe not at first, but eventually over time. That's what happens sometime with coaches and then young talented kids is the young talented kids initially think they know what they're 100% what they're doing and they do it the right way, and these coaches have to kind of break down that wall initially and then kind of be let in by those more talented guys. And then it goes from there. And based off Taj's records at Clemson, I'd say he benefited greatly from allowing Chad Morris to coach in the best way he can.
You know, when I read that quote to Taj from Morris from this meeting, I mean, he says, I told him that playing football and being the starting QB at Clemson were important to him, that he better have a great summer, that he better take ownership of his career and be so far ahead of where he was that it's not even close. You know what it sounds like to me, Ty Richardson? It sounds like Chad Morris was that close to telling Taj Boyd to get off his lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Listen, old man.
Do not your what?
Get off my presence with authority. Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
The old man.
Get Off My Lawn, presented by Breeden RV and Power Sports.
Listen to you with the CCR new music intro. I knew you had a new music intro going, so you've got Creedence Clearwater Revival there as the music. Do you know who CCR is? Have you ever heard John Fogerty's voice outside of center field, which is another intro that you've used this year?
Outside of center field, I can't say I have, but I knew this song would match up well. And did you catch the Bull Durham clip in there as well? So
I did not. I don't know if I was
announced
listening.
My presence with authority.
Announced presence with authority.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, so I got to teach you some Jackson 5 on Thursday and a little Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Cool.
All right, so now that I've gotten Thursday's programming done, we'll remind you that Get Off My Lawn is brought to you by our friends at Breeden RV, and you're going to have no problem with Breeden RV. You want them on your lawn because they have upfront and no-hassle pricing. Every single RV is heavily discounted the moment it hits their lot, and that guarantees you get the best price around. Plus, Breeden RV is the only dealership around that offers maintenance for life at no extra charge on any new travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome. So go see Breeden RV today on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or visit BreedenRV.com. All right, so I'll start here with, let's see. I'm so happy fall camp is done. I don't even know what to call it because it's not fall.
Camp,
I don't even know when the first day of autumn is, but I don't even think we're very close to it. It is not called fall camp, even though the media schedule given to us by the University Sports Information Department back on Monday, July 29th said fall camp media schedule. And let's be honest here, this goes to the same idea as spring training, which starts in the wintertime for baseball players. So, but I mean, it felt like Groundhog Day for a long time there. There was tough to get information, even about injuries. You never quite know if you're getting straight talk, if you're getting coach talk. You weren't even allowed to watch very much, just 20 minutes of practice when the media was allowed to be in there. They basically were allowed to watch an hour and 20 minutes per week. And I'm not one that moans and whines and bitches about media access to football practice and stuff like that, but I know a lot are. And that turned into one of the topics of conversation throughout the month because I'm not even sure if people knew what else to talk about when they didn't have their eyes on practice. You know, what do you bring up your topics? You're going by what people are watching, not what people are guessing is happening inside practice, and you can't really base what's going on at practice upon 20 minutes. And no matter what questions you ask in the post-practice press conferences, you're going to get media speak. You're not going to get stuff that really means very much. And so I'm ecstatic that now there are finally games to watch, which you can base an opinion off of that means something. And now media can't complain about being barred from practice any longer because now you got the games that you can watch. So I've figured out, as excited as people get for college football in the month of August, I don't really think there's all that much to be excited about, honestly. So fall/summer/camp/practice, thank goodness. Get off my lawn.
Eddie in Clarksville always calls in and he's like, hey, Ty, and he goes, the countdown is on. And he's not excited about the countdown, but he's excited what comes after the countdown, which is Arkansas football. And now that we actually have it this Saturday, People are thrilled. People are ecstatic, and I completely agree with you on that.
Let me just be either further honest with you here about this. People, talk show hosts around college sports towns will complain about the summertime when you don't have anything to talk about. I think you have more to talk about in June and July than you do in August. And I found the last month, hey, you and I had fun because we have a way of doing that, and we have other things to talk about too. But I found August a little bit difficult to fight through, so maybe I'll work on it a little bit better for August 2020.
I'll keep it going with Arkansas football, and my get off my lawn I referenced in the first segment. The fact that people were just ripping Ben Hicks, and yet he has not played it down at the University of Arkansas. One of my buddy Collins replies to the Ben Hicks is our QB1 tweet from the Arkansas football account yesterday. Not my QB1. Then we have Mark that says, I don't like the decision, does not bode well for our future. John sends a Trump no gif in the tweet. Played made dumb says who ? Navy Mike says pick 6-6. Like, that doesn't help. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you can't agree with the decision. But if you're going to call yourself an Arkansas football fan, you have to get behind the kid. Why would you try and hinder his confidence heading into week 1? Do you think he doesn't read this stuff? Do you think he's completely oblivious to social media? Guy is 20-something years old. Of course he's on his phone. Now, he might not be on it as much as some others. He's older now. He's a senior. Maybe he's learned a thing or two. But that will eventually make it to him, Phil. Those comments, those distractions. And I saw Scooter Harris tweet out the rally behind him rather than criticize him or something of that nature. And you had Trey Knox, Rakeem Boyd, John David White, and a few other Arkansas football players quote tweet and say, we're behind you. Let's go. Let's ride. That needs to be the mentality. Now, if something was to change, if Ben Hicks was to struggle, if he wasn't to play well down the stretch, then I can see that a little bit, and you might be clamoring for Nick Starkel to play. But until you see him step on that football field, until you see him fail, there's no reason to root for him to.
So you're missing the 4 words that you're supposed to say.
Get off my lawn, Arkansas football fans who are just ripping Ben Hicks for so reason. Sorry, I always got to add that in.
Yeah, you always got it. That's the whole reason we did that, because it feels so good to finally release the hatred you got inside of you. This is
release the tension. Exactly.
That's right. This is all. This segment is really all about our own mental health, so we can get our anger out of our systems. So the next 40 minutes are a lot easier to listen to. Okay, so did you see this last weekend? Major League Baseball had Players Weekend, and I have no idea what Players Weekend means, because I don't think the players would have chosen the uniforms that they were pretty much told to and demanded to wear. Maybe it's Players Weekend because they get to put some fun nicknames on the back of the jersey. Maybe they get a couple extra handfuls of Bazooka bubblegum before the game. And maybe a few more phone numbers are tossed into the crowd from baseballs throughout the game, and it's all right to do it, because there is absolutely no way that the players would have chosen the moronic uniforms that Major League Baseball dictated they wore. Did you see these uniforms, Ty?
I might have saw one or two, but, I don't pay attention to baseball as much as I probably should.
Well, it turned into the topic of conversation over the weekend rather than the games, the uniforms. They were monochromatic, and the definition of monochromatic is containing or using only one color. All right, so there's a reason why nobody's done monochromatic uniforms in the history of baseball. I know the White Sox did some Black Sox uniforms a long time ago, but even that had white numbers on black jerseys. The reason this has never been done before is because it looks horrendous. It looks stupid. Yeah, I mean, you had the Dodgers and the Yankees, two of the most iconic franchises in the history of baseball, that play each other once every 3 years. Maybe they play in the World Series this year, but if they do, they'll be wearing the traditional uniforms they've always worn. That's what I love partially what I like about the Yankees, is that they've been wearing the same uniforms for decades. So have the Dodgers. But there it was. White-on-white uniforms versus black-on-black uniforms, with two franchises that have no business ever wearing something that is different from what they've worn for over a century. And it was just moronic. The Dodgers even came to the point where they asked Major League Baseball if they could wear their traditional uniforms for at least one game against the Yankees. And the powers that be in the Major League Baseball office said, no, it's Players Weekend, and you're the players, and you're gonna do what we tell you to do. Cubs manager Joe Maddon said of the All Whites, woof. I'd just like to know who thought it was a good idea. Terry Francona, manager of the Indians, said the uniforms make everyone look like morons. I thought they were horrendous uniforms. And if you're trying to reconnect with the youth, monochromatic uniforms is not the way to do it. Shortening the length of games is the way to do it.
Yep.
Getting your stars, your young, exciting stars out there on a national stage is a way to do it. But monochromatic uniforms on some manufactured, quote-unquote, Major League Baseball Players Weekend is not the way to do it. Major League Baseball, get off my lawn and get the monochromatic uniforms off my TV.
So we've talked about what Hunter Yurachek and his staff have done lately with the game experience. Now, we've yet to see that in person. We've yet to hear about it because they have yet to play a game. But it seems like that they've been working really hard to enhance the game experience for Razorback fans, whether it's hog down, whether it's better Wi-Fi, whether it's not having as many on-game, on-the-field appearances from different donors. They're trying to help fans have a better experience. Well, Mack Brown wants his fans to also have a good experience down there in North Carolina. And this is from Ross Martin of Inside Carolina. Mack Brown says he wants all the fans in their seats in Kenan Stadium 30 minutes before kickoff.
I'm sure he'll be taking attendance while he's there.
I'm sure he will too. Maybe you could have expected that, like in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, but in today's day and age, that's just not going to happen. I wish it would. I always like to refer to myself as a half millennial, or I have some millennial traits. Like I grow my hair out long, I dress silly, and I do certain things that I probably shouldn't. But in like terms of the old guy spirit of the game, I'd love to be fans in their seats 30 minutes for the game. I think it's intimidating for the opponent, whoever's playing in the stadium, and I think it's just freaking awesome by that matter. But Mack Brown, you can get off my lawn, because I can tell you straight up, at a football school, much less at North Carolina, that's not going to happen. I don't even know if you could get people to be in their seats 30 minutes in the Dean Smith Center before. And that's an honest. Maybe I haven't watched the game, and I've never watched the game in Chapel Hill, so I can't speak to that as personally as some might should. But I don't even know if you can expect, if Roy Williams can expect every fan to be in their seat 30 minutes before game. Maybe when those dudes from Durham, North Carolina, I'm referring to Duke, make their way to Chapel Hill, but I just don't know if that's a characteristic, and I don't know if that expectation is even okay to think about in 2019.
So Brown's referring to the students or to Carolina fans?
No,
everybody.
All the fans.
Do we know if North Carolina is selling alcohol at games? Because that would be one way to potentially get people inside a little bit earlier. Otherwise, they're going to, you know what, these last 30 minutes, this is the last time I can throw one down or two or three down, depending on how quickly you do it.
I told you. You remember when I told you what they're selling, right? You remember?
Oh, are they the ones selling White Claw?
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
They're selling White Claws, Phil. So,
well, then this is obviously a marketing ploy for hard seltzer.
I guess.
And Mack Brown is in on it.
By the way, I don't know what kind it is. Arkansas at Hogtown is having a happy hour. They'll have $5 16-ounce drafts and then hard seltzers. They didn't list the brands for either the beer or the hard seltzers. I'm assuming it's going to be Anheuser-Busch and Core, because they just came out with an email from Kevin Trainer today about Core Brewing, so I'm assuming it's that, but I am kind of curious to see what they sell down there for Hogtown. But they do have a happy hour for Hogtown. I know we talked about they don't have one inside the stadium at concession stands, but they do have one for Hogtown, Phil.
All right, well, I've got one here, and I should give a tip of the cap to Justin in Ocala, who's becoming one of our more dependable texters on the Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963. And he has pointed out that Brian Stultz, who is a writer over there at Saturday Down South, has 10 bold predictions for Auburn football for the 2019 season. And there's one prediction here that will pique your interest, Razorback fans, and one Ty Richardson, and it's number 5. Auburn will lose a game it isn't supposed to. And he's picking the October 19th trip to Fayetteville, facing the Razorbacks, as the one where Malzahn and his guys trip up. So, hey, Auburn football's on notice from Brian Stultz. I don't know anything about Brian Stultz except that he writes for Saturday Down South. and he is telling Gus Malzahn and the Auburn Tigers that when they come onto a real lawn at Reynolds Razorback Stadium, they're going to be kicked off of it. How do you like that?
Well, Phil, I wanted to double check it. I thought I remembered correctly. Auburn has a bye week before they play Arkansas, but they do have a tough stretch. They play Texas A&M and College Station, then they host Mississippi State, and then they go down to Gainesville to take on the Florida Gators. So that's a tough little stretch right there before you get the bye week in Arkansas. The only scenario where I could see that happening is if they lose to Oregon and then if they lose 2 of those 3 games that I just listed and they somehow, some way fired Gus Malzahn. I just don't think that if Gus Malzahn and his football team, by the way, they have the best defensive line in the SEC, if they make their way to Fayetteville and he's the coach, I just can't see them losing. But props to Brian for making that bold prediction. I don't think it's going to pay off, but someone has to. All right, Phil, I told you about this yesterday. First day of classes for the students up there in Fayetteville, fall semester. And did you get a chance to see the video of the Arkansas basketball players doing the dunk tank with Eric Musselman yet? Have you watched that yet?
I hadn't seen that one, but I saw one yesterday where Muss, and it's funny because the camera's on Muss the whole time, but one of the other coaches is doing the driving of the golf cart, and they were giving free tours or free rides to students from classroom to classroom yesterday with Musselman introducing himself as, "Hi, I'm Eric. I'm the basketball coach."
I thought it was pretty great, and their social media has really been savvy, both the Arkansas football program and the basketball program. They've really ramped it up as of late. But I just thought that was a cool player experience because there's not many times you can like jokingly have fun with the coach. Most of the time it's serious, and there's some conversations, obviously, but it was definitely a get-off-my-lawn moment when Isaiah Joe, Mason Jones, and all the guys were throwing softballs and baseballs at the dunk tank trying to dunk Musselman. I thought that was great. There was a dunk tank the other night here in Barling for National Night Out with the police department, and I really wanted to do it with me, John, and Tommy and see who could dunk one first. But I feel like if, like, let's say I got up on the dunk tank first and one of them dunked me, then they wouldn't end up doing it. They just like, no, I'm not doing it. They just do it to do it. But, yeah, definitely a get-off-my-lawn moment for the Arkansas basketball team there. Phil.
Remember, Ty, I still have a pretty good throwing arm. I'm fairly accurate. You're ever in a dunk tank, please let me know, and I will drop whatever it is I'm doing. I will drive the 2.5 hours to get there, and I'll get your head all nice and wet.
Hey, speaking of getting wet, our Becks are coming up. And you had to do a little what's that called? Frozen.
That was a polar plunge.
Polar plunge. That's what you did.
I am still a little shriveled up from it, even though that was back in February.
So we need to decide what the loser has to go through this year, because with week 1 going on this weekend, we didn't do any for week 0. We just didn't get around to it, but we will start our betting picks for week 1. So we need some feedback on this, y'all. Y'all can text us in. Apparently some of y'all have Phil's email. Get us up on Twitter, Facebook. It really doesn't matter. Send us something, and it needs to be a punishment. It doesn't need to be a reward. It needs to be a punishment of what the loser of Phil and I should have to do this year when one of us falls to one another when it comes to betting college football. Phil had to do the polar plunge last year. Hopefully we'll have something fun to look forward to this year, either me experiencing it or Phil experiencing it.
Well, one way to get to the top of the list is to be as ridiculous as you possibly can. Pick the most ridiculous punishment you possibly can, and at least if it involves no violence, maybe we'll consider that. Hey, I got another way to get off the lawn, and it is in a hot air balloon, and it is coming up shortly at the Boone County Regional Airport, the 24th Annual Arkansas Hot Air Balloon State Championship from September 6th through the 8th. And it's brought to you by the Harrison Convention and Visitors Bureau. The unique outdoor event began in 1995, held in beautiful downtown Harrison. The festival kicks off Friday evening at the Boone County Regional Airport with a free concert, beer gardens, and balloons tethered to the ground for the exciting balloon glow, plus lots of vendors around. The event continues Saturday morning with more balloon race competitions, and the evening events continue at the Boone County Regional Airport, where tethered rides are offered to the public. And then in conjunction with the tethered rides, there's a Casa Kids Corner, inflatables, pony rides, music, face painting, food, and fun for the family. And then the event continues through Sunday at the Boone County Regional Airport with several balloon race competitions for all to enjoy. Go experience the hot air balloon adventure with the Harrison Convention and Visitors Bureau, and you can learn more online at ArkansasBalloonFest.com. We'll come back with more halftime on a Tuesday on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
You're listening to Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Brake Inspection Tuesday. This is the Morning Rush.
You think today's the day when they name it, though?
Well, they got to put out a depth chart, and that doesn't mean they can't put out an or in there.
I'm going to throw something if they put out an or.
I mean, I don't know. This is just me reading tea leaves for the last couple of scrimmages, including Saturday. Starkels ran with the ones. One other thing you can point to Saturday, Ben Hicks, when they were practicing victory formation, he was with the one.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, where the summer sales drive is in full swing. First, we want to thank everyone who shopped with us in the last couple of months. We appreciate your business. If you haven't been in yet, there's still time. Now through Labor Day, you can save like never before on a great selection of Rath Road Ready premium pre-owned vehicles. Like the special purchase 18 Hyundai Elantra SELs, just $13,993 or zero down and payments as low as $221 a month while they last. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. Buy 3, get 1 free on all tires, free AC checks, and 10% off all AC work. Make this a great time to get your car ready for summer vacation or back to school. Plus, there's still time to register for a showroom full of free prizes as well as a grand prize trip to Big Cedar Lodge. Don't miss out on the fun and savings during the summer sales drive at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
No purchase necessary. Zero down payment with approved credit. See dealer for details.
Massey Ferguson tractors have arrived at Bush Machine and Tractor. Bush Machine and Tractor is proud to be the newest Massey Ferguson dealer in western Arkansas, providing you with a full lineup of versatile Massey Ferguson tractors. They're built with straightforward power, smart fuel economy, and upgraded control and comfort. Stop by and find a new Massey Ferguson perfectly sized to fit your property or farm at Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 South 0 Street in Fort Smith, or visit us online at bushtractor.com.
You're born amazing, but sometimes life can bring the unexpected. That's why the emergency departments at Baptist Health Fort Smith and Van Buren are dedicated to providing the most trusted care to the Arkansas River Valley region. With a 30-minute or less wait time promise, backed by Baptist Health's comprehensive healthcare system, it's the rapid care you and your family can trust when it matters most. For the care that keeps you amazing, call 1-888-BAPTIST.
What's your more? Maybe it's more front row seats to see your favorite band on all 35 tour dates around the world. Whatever you'd like more of, Powerball from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery can turn those dreams into reality. And the next drawing is for more than $50 million. So go to your local lottery retailer and get your ticket to more today. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 631520.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Edwards Auto Center in Roland has a newly remodeled facility with a greater selection of vehicles, and you will enjoy a relaxed, no-pressure sales experience. If your credit score has been an issue, Edwards' signature Buy Here, Pay Here program is a part of their superior customer service. Some restrictions may apply. Edwards has helped folks achieve their dreams of auto ownership and provided quality used vehicles for more than 30 years. Visit the newly remodeled Edwards Auto Center 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on the right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Attention, please! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts, we're super in style. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Whaley, wow, walks into the end zone, and I mean walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Razorbacks.
Well, Nikki Chabanel from Rivals with us in about 5-6 minutes-ish. We continue on a Tuesday on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Want to mention a couple of texts from our listeners on the Cherokee Casino hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's see here. We had a question from an unnamed texter asking, why is TJ Hammonds out for 4 games? Is it because he left the team and now getting punished for it? And I've seen in the Democrat Gazette and also other sources of information that it could be an academic suspension, which was the reason that he had to leave the team last year. So he'll be out for 4 games and then probably be the 4th stringer after Chase Hayden.
Phil, you want to hear Morris' explanation on it? It's about,
yeah, go for it. You've got sound from Chad Morris talking about TJ Hammonds.
It's like 3 seconds, y'all.
Yeah, TJ won't be with us for the first 4 weeks.
And then he goes on to something else. He doesn't say anything about that. He doesn't give any explanation or anything. And again, he doesn't have to. Obviously, media members and us lowly radio hosts would like to know why TJ Hammonds is not going to be able to play in those 4 games, but that's what he said about the matter.
Coy from Fort Smith says, I'm just trying to focus on the positive away from the quarterback drama that football is 4 days away. And drops a little woo pig on you. So, yeah, the good news is football is 4 days away. I still think you got to worry about an offensive line where you've got 3 freshmen as your second stringers at center, Bo Limmer, at right guard, Ricky Stromberg, and no matter how good those 2 are to be there right now, oh, goodness. I mean, look what happened to Miami. Starting 2 freshmen at ends at the tackle positions against, admittedly, a pretty good Florida defense. It doesn't go well starting freshmen at the offensive line too much. We also got a couple of pieces of advice or recommendations for our pick segment. So the loser, Ryan Van Buren says, the loser drinks a beer from the winner's shoe. Now, is this a thing, Ty? You had a term that went with drinking a beer. It's called a shoey?
A shoey, yeah. They're not as popular as they used to be, but about 3 or 4 years ago.
These were popular at some point? This is something people used to do?
Yeah, just for social media purposes, just to go viral and stuff. But yeah, that's I guess a generational gap type thing. Phil.
Generational gap.
I've never drank a beer out of somebody's shoe or even my own.
Not one time?
I've never even had a beer out of a can that was shaped like a shoe. Have you?
Yes, one time.
Oh,
I got paid
boy.
$20, I think. So.
You better be paid to do that. So you want to add something to it? If this is what we choose, can we say that the winner gets to run 2 miles and then the loser drinks a beer out of one of those shoes you ran in?
That's so gross, yeah. Or they could just do a beer mile. I don't know, but that's not a bad idea. We can toy with it a little bit.
We got another recommendation from an unnamed texter that we're not even going to get into. So I think we'll just leave that one at that. You can leave that one out to your own imagination. Again, I said, the more ridiculous it is, the more we'll contemplate.
Okay,
no,
you're not even going to read that? Come on.
Can I? You think I? All right. So
yes, you can do that.
I would say avert your ears to listen to this. He says the punishment would be the loser does splits on a running chainsaw, which I actually saw that in a movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And we're not. That's not a matter of picks.
I don't care.
It's a matter of who wins and who loses.
I don't care if that gets assigned for halftime homework. I will not watch that. The scariest movie I've ever seen is like Snakes on a Plane or What Lies Beneath, and I'm just not a scary movie connoisseur.
I've got to get you to watch The Exorcist at some point.
No.
They asked me the scariest movie you've ever seen, and it's the easiest choice in the world. It's The Exorcist. So you've never watched it. You probably never heard of it.
Won't do it. I don't care.
So if you lose the picks, you're watching The Exorcist, and I'll be there to watch it with you. So I've already figured it out. That's it, folks. You don't have to send us any more recommendations. We're going to force Ty to watch The Exorcist, just like the end of the movie A Clockwork Orange, where Malcolm McDowell has his eyes held open by a device so he can't close his eyes. He's got to watch the propaganda movie. I'm going to do that to you. You better win the picks, Ty, because that's the direction we're going.
Jeez, I guess I got to come up with something the next couple days where that could be harmful to your health, because you're just trying to harm my health here with the scary movie, Phil.
You can't get me with that. If I can survive diving into 33-degree water, I think I can survive anything you want to dish out, even drinking a beer from a shoe, from a sweaty shoe that just ran 2 miles.
That would actually be pretty funny if I ran a mile and you had to drink beer out of my shoe. If I think of something better, I'll let you know, but I'll stick with that one right now.
Andy in Mountain Home says loser gets his chest and back waxed, but that really just hurts those that have a lot of chest and back hair. So I don't think we can go with that one. And Justin in Ocala says live stream it. So of course we'll live stream it, or we'll tweet it, or we'll Facebook it, and that's just how you do things on radio these days. All right, we'll step aside for a break. Nikki Chavanel from Rivals.com is coming up next. Maybe Nikki's got an idea for what the loser can do. It's ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
At Gray Brothers, they understand the importance of your hay crop. And with this year's weather, they understand more than ever. Gray Brothers, along with Kubota, is committed to making your hay production easier than ever. With the new BV Series Kubota baler, coupled with the Kubota M5 Series, or the more powerful M6 Kubota cab tractor with user-friendly functions, discounted pricing, and quality Kubota equipment. Now's the time for your new Kubota tractor and hay equipment from Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Get hot summer savings now during the Labor Day sales event at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler, Oklahoma. Incredible offers on an impressive selection of new 2018 still in stock and the stylish new 2019s. Huge savings through Labor Day on trucks, SUVs, cars, and minivans. Don't miss it, the Labor Day sales event going on now at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler. To view the inventory, look them up at buywilliams.com.
This Coors Light is the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? Coors Light, as cold as the Rockies, available down the street. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Call them at 479-997-2366 or log on to BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren. Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. They have locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, and Little Rock. Or you can find them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Attention, please. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, offering smart looks for back to school and serving your community daily. Supercuts, we're super in style. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Takes it on the hop at the 9. He's got a seam, then planted as he got out to the 28-yard line. Dallas Washington picked him up and crushed him.
Welcome back on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com. The ideas keep coming in from our listeners with the loser of our weekly pick segment that starts this Friday. We'll have to do. Thumper says loser has to eat a really hot pepper. An unnamed texter says loser's got to wear a Texas Longhorn shirt, walk around campus yelling "Hook 'em horns." Randy says make Ty watch The Exorcist after dark alone. I'm going to have to be there with him just to make sure he watches it. Nikki Chavanel joining us right now from Rivals. Nikki, we're starting our picks this Friday. And it took Ty and me about, 2-3 months into the picks last year to figure out what the loser would do. Turned out to be a polar plunge. I lost, dove into 33-degree water. We're not doing that one again. We've had some pretty ridiculous ideas. Do you have any ideas on what the loser could do? We said the most ridiculous would be considered over things that make sense. So what do you think?
Well, I was going to suggest something, and then Phil,
I'm not sure this could work for you.
Probably involves hair on head. I'm thinking this involves hair on head.
The special teams guys, I think they made one of them shave their head like Friar Tuck, and that would be hilarious. But I think he shaved it off now. I think it was just for fall camp.
Well, I haven't gone fully bald on the top of the head yet. I've been contemplating it. Somebody else said, wax the back, wax the chest. And that, to be quite honest with you, the 40-Year-Old Virgin movie scared me away from that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, so it's game week finally, Nikki. It is finally game week, and we finally got the piece of information that everybody was hoping to get. Really, I think they were hoping to get it a week ago. Ben Hicks is QB1 for week 1. So let me ask you straight up. I'd be surprised if Ben Hicks starts every single game this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised, too. From just listening to Coach Morris talk about them yesterday, it really just sounds like they want Ben Hicks to kind of be their coach on the field and get everyone where they need to be. And in a few games, once they do not need that coaching right there on the field with them, I think they might go with a guy with more arm talent. But once the starter starts, it's hard to take over unless you have a real excuse for starting the other guys. So you'd have to see Ben Hicks make a lot of mistakes or some pretty critical mistakes, and we obviously can't predict if that will happen or not.
I just don't anticipate you'll see any of those mistakes this Saturday against Portland State. I think Hicks starts at the very least the first 2 games. And I'd be surprised if Nick Starkel starts against Ole Miss.
Yeah, I don't think the mistakes you'll see this weekend. I'm sure there will be some. It's the first game. Doesn't really matter who you're playing. It'll probably be because of the youth that's on the field. So Ben Hicks should be totally fine against Portland State at least.
Okay, so we've hashed out the quarterback thing ad nauseum for the last 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
You know what stands out to me on this depth chart, specifically for the secondary defensively, and I know the wide receivers too, but I think the receivers will come around this year. It's the offensive line, and we've talked about the idea they have more depth with more scholarship linemen. There still isn't a lot of experience as far as games played right there, and when you've got true freshmen as your backups at center and right guard, and a redshirt freshman who never played a game in college, and Ryan Winkler as your backup right tackle, and with Myron Cunningham being the backup left tackle, if he's got to start, you put Stromberg in there at right guard. The offensive line, for me, is a little bit of a worry going into this season now.
Yeah, you have the starting offensive line with all of them having some experience, not a whole lot of good experience, and then you have your second stringers. And, yes, there has been a lot of depth, so they've been able to develop quickly, but I'm still expecting to see a lot of mistakes from them, and I'm just hoping that they'll be average, around midpoint of the season. I definitely expect them to be a weak point for the team, but Ben Hicks, with his experience, he should be able to make quick decisions and get the ball out before getting into too much trouble.
Talking with Nikki Chavanel, Rivals.com on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Nikki, I want to play a clip from yesterday. Ryan Mallett was the esteemed speaker at the Little Rock Touchdown Club, and I want you to listen to his reaction, then let's get into it after it's done.
Well, there are definitely 3 different players. I think Nick is kind of more like me. He's a bigger guy. He's got a really strong arm. Ben has been in this system for 3 years at SMU before he came here, so he knows the offense, and so he's good to go. And then John Stevens, I love that kid, man. He's a funny dude. He's a smaller than average quarterback, but he can play ball.
That, again, was Ryan Mallett at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. When David Basil got up on stage and read the text that Ben Hicks had been named the starting quarterback, he asked the crowd and also Ryan, were you surprised by this? And even Ryan stood up and held up his hand. What do you think the collective fan base, if you had to put a percentage on it, thought that Nick Starkel was going to be the starting quarterback week 1?
I just think that it's a perception thing. I don't think that a lot of fans wanted, SMU's quarterback to become their starting quarterback. I think they much would have liked how it sounded to have, the A&M guy come in and lead the team. But a lot of people don't know the particulars. They don't know how good Ben Hicks was at SMU for the majority of the time. There were games that just made you put your head in your hands, but for the majority of the time, Ben Hicks has been one of the best quarterbacks that the AAC has seen. Not that it's been around for very long, but yeah, I just think that they didn't want another SMU guy coming in here, and well, we'll just see how that goes. I don't think where you come from has a lot to do with how you're going to play, because Ben Hicks has played some opponents of a higher caliber before.
So one of the crucial things that people have been clinging on to lately with Chad Morris, not only the quarterback situation, but what's going on with Trey Knox. He touched on Trey Knox. He touched on C.J. O'Grady. He touched on Colton Jackson yesterday. And I'm curious, they hope to get him back by Wednesday. If you had to bet on it, Nikki, do you think Trey Knox plays on Saturday?
It sounds like they really do want to be able to get him in there for some experience before SEC play starts up. So I think they'll try and get him out there. It just depends on how ready he is, and they have the rule that if you're not ready by Wednesday, you can't play. So hope to see him out there. I think they could really use him given the injuries, and I mean he's been one of the gemstones of the whole class. So you want to be able to trot him out there. There's been a lot of hype about him all off season.
Nikki Chavanel from Rivals joining us here. And, of course, Nikki, you specialize in recruiting, and there was nothing going on in recruiting throughout the month of August. So I know July was a pretty big month. You had four commits. I know they were planning on having a lot of recruits out to, I think it was the first game. But they have a lot of visits planned for the Portland State game?
So they actually looked at the group of recruits that, they're finishing to target in this 2020 class, and a lot of them, their mindset right now is to go and take game visits elsewhere. Like, they've been to Arkansas, they know what they're going to get out of Arkansas. They first of all want to see what they can do on the field this year, see Chad Morris turn it around a bit, and then they want to go check out their other options. And if you're bringing guys in the first game of the season on official visits, you've used your official visit. You can't use it again later in the season when you really want them to come in. So there will be a few unofficials. That means they're paying their own way to get here. But it won't be a big recruiting weekend. Thankfully, I get to focus on the team in Portland State.
Well, remind us where Arkansas sits as far as number of commitments, where they stand in the Rivals rankings, defensively, offensively, and what you've thought of the incoming class for 2020 so far. And, of course, things can change so much in the upcoming months.
Yeah, unfortunately right now, Arkansas is sitting at 41st in the nation. That is not very good, but they only have probably a little over half their class, so as those points add up, they'll move their way up. They just don't have the quantity right now. They have a decent number of 4 stars. On offense, they have a big offensive lineman who's a 4-star who is one of the critical guys in this class that will add depth. Other positions, they're just kind of hoping to find guys that they can develop over a couple years. It's not as pressing as this 2019 class was. That's why they brought so many guys in. But the class is currently at the bottom of the SEC with Vanderbilt, so that's not great, but I think it'll pick up once they can bring out some positivity around the team.
Is that because of the numbers, the number of commitments? Is it because of a lack of quality commitments? Because, I mean, I'm looking at some of the other schools in the SEC. Alabama's got 23 commits. Auburn right now has 18. So it seems to me the number of commits right now for Arkansas, 14, might be one of the reasons for the low ranking.
Yeah, well, that goes into it. And then the other schools, the way that it works, because they are so highly favored by these recruits, the elite ones, the summer camps that these teams hold over the summer, like Alabama, they've already offered you. They still make you come to camp and prove that, you're good enough, and then they'll give you the okay to commit. And so over the summer, a lot of these elite schools have done that process, and then they gave their guys the green light. And if you're looking at a top 25 program, the school will take you right away if you've come to camp and done everything right up to that point. But, yeah, Arkansas is behind, but that's just because they need to show what they've got this year, and that, I think, is really what it comes down to, because Arkansas is not sexy right now.
All guests join us on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. That's where Nikki Chavanel of Rivals.com is right now. Nikki, I saw that you quote-tweeted Jason Kersey yesterday when they received their depth chart, and I say that loosely because it was a picture with eye emojis, and they were not given a depth chart. I know you would not be too happy if that were to occur yesterday. You saw the depth chart yesterday. First thing that stood out to you before we let you go?
Well, there were 9 true freshmen, and in one way it signals that they successfully recruited a class of guys that had immediate contributors, and that's what they were trying to do. But it also signals that we're going to see growing pains, and in a couple years, this team is going to be really good. So that was the main thing that struck me from that depth chart.
All right, Nikki, appreciate your expertise as always. Thanks for coming on with us today in the second hour, and we'll be talking about a real game Tuesday next week with you.
Thanks, guys. We've got a big announcement coming up, I think, around 3 o'clock, so, keep your eyes out.
Where can people find this announcement?
It might be released by the school, actually, but if you go on hogbeat.com, you can read about it now. Arkansas might be playing in another NFL stadium next season, not just AT&T, so that's a little tidbit.
Very interesting. Well, that's what we call a tease in this industry. So I think I'll be going over to Hogbeat and checking it out. Nikki, thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Don't forget, you're going to love Breeden RV and Power Sports. They have upfront and no-hassle pricing, and every single RV is heavily discounted as soon as it hits their lot, so you're guaranteed to get the best price around. Breeden RV is also the only dealership around that offers maintenance for life at no extra charge on any new travel trailer, fifth wheel, or motorhome. So go see Breeden RV today. They're on Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma, or check out BreedenRV.com. Let's go fishing for that information during the break. Back to Put a Cherry on the Top of halftime on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Break Inspection Tuesday.
Bow hunters, it's opening day. You've done all the scouting and practice for the first day of archery season. You're in your tree stand, 18 feet in the air. It's daybreak, wind in your favor. It's prime time, and there he is, the buck of a lifetime. Are you ready? Let the experts at Jelco Outdoors show you the new Matthews Vertex Compound Bow. Ultimate versatility and performance will give you the absolute confidence to make the shot. Jelco Outdoors, your premier archery dealer in the River Valley. Jelco Outdoors, the #1 Matthews dealer in Arkansas. Are you looking for an easier way to own a new Ford? If you want a better selection with more financing options, try Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. If you want more for your trade, try Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. If you have not had great service from other dealers, try Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. If your dealer isn't meeting your expectations, try Harry Robinson Salisal Ford.
Harry Robinson, Salisal Ford.
And online at harryrobinson.com.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Where we meet the nicest people by accident.
The Catfish Kitchen at the top of Logtown Hill in Van Buren has lunch specials every weekday from 11 till 2, starting at only $7.99. Try the 3-piece catfish filet dinner with hand-cut fries and all the fixins. It's only $11.29. And the Catfish Kitchen is more than catfish. Try their shrimp dinners, cooked any way you like it. Chicken tenders, crab cakes, or one of their po' boy sandwiches. The Catfish Kitchen, open Tuesday through Sunday 11 till 9 at 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources, where the summer sales drive is in full swing. First, we want to thank everyone who shopped with us in the last couple of months. We appreciate your business. If you haven't been in yet, there's still time. Now through Labor Day, you can save like never before on a great selection of Rath Road Ready premium pre-owned vehicles. Like the special purchase 18 Hyundai Elantra SELs, just $13,993 or zero down and payments as low as $221 a month while they last. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. Buy 3, get 1 free on all tires, free AC checks, and 10% off all AC work. Make this a great time to get your car ready for summer vacation or back to school. Plus, there's still time to register for a showroom full of free prizes as well as a grand prize trip to Big Cedar Lodge. Don't miss out on the fun and savings during the summer sales drive at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
No purchase necessary. 0 down payment with approved credit. See dealer for details.
We were on a break!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And he's on in place of the injured Ryan Mallett, and he has been brilliant. 12 of 13. That one's caught. Touchdown. Whoa, what a rope.
Oh, my goodness.
Joe Adams.
There's not a backup in the country that can throw a ball like that.
Cherry on the top of halftime today includes a pretty interesting bit of news, which may be coming out in about an hour. Reported right now by Andrew Hutchinson of Rivals that he has told an announcement this afternoon regarding Arkansas and Missouri playing a future game at Arrowhead Stadium, the home of the Kansas City Chiefs. I would assume that would be the Missouri home games, and then you get the Arkansas home games in Little Rock. So you know what that tells me? It tells me universities do not want home games the day after Thanksgiving. They want them somewhere else. Let's go to Ryan in Hot Springs to close things out. Ryan, hello.
Hey, buddy. I wanted to pile on with what Nikki was saying, because she was talking about he's played some better caliber defenses in 17 when Fayetteville, when TCU came to and kicked our doors in. Later that season, he went to TCU, and SMU more than held their own. They lost by a touchdown. And if they had a defense, they would have a legit shot at upsetting TCU. But they had some stuff not go their way with TCU scoring right before halftime and then getting the ball to start the second half. But and his stats weren't just considerably better than Austin, but they were definitely better. So I think he's a better talent than being given credit than Razorback Nation. And I think one thing going against him is, since Ryan Mallett left, Razorback Nation's been looking for their next Ryan Mallett, and I think they saw that in Starkville. So I think they got disappointed when he got named.
Well, and before he becomes the next Ryan Mallett, he's going to have to sit the bench, at least for a little bit on Saturday. All right, well, we'll react to the potential Arkansas-Mizzou game in Kansas City tomorrow. Appreciate everything you did today, Ty Richardson. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.